Hello, lovely student. Welcome to my lesson on text files, lesson 9. In this lesson, I'm going to be reading from a text file that has multiple delimiters, and I will be using string handling functions and procedures to manipulate data in this file. So here's the activity I prepared for you, and we're going to work through this activity in this lesson. Let's go through the problem. Create a Delphi project called Car Sales. Use the sample GUI, image 1, to create your own GUI and the sample text file, image 2, to create a file called qualitycars.txt. Your program must read from the file qualitycars.txt, test if the file exists. If the file does not exist, display an error message and terminate the program. You're required to extract the relevant fields from each line and store in suitable variables. Display the specifications of the cars in stock on the Rich Edit component, neatly aligned in columns with headings. Note that each line of text are separated by the semicolon and hash delimiter. Each line of text has a semicolon and hash delimiters. This is an example of the data stored in the text file qualitycars.txt, and this is the sample output of what your program is going to look like when you display the data stored in the text file. Now let's go and look at what the coding is going to look like. So here I've created a Delphi project and I've called it vehicle stock. I've got a form, a panel, a Rich Edit GUI component to do display, and I have a button that I'm going to look at the coding for the activity. Let's look at it. So in my code, I've created variables, T file, which is of data type text file. I've created S-line to read each line of text from the file, S-make to store the make, S-color to store the color of data type string. I-model will keep track of the year the car was manufactured. I-pos will keep track of the position of the semicolon, the position of the hash, and both are of data type integer. D-price will keep track of the price of the vehicle, data type double. I'm now testing if the file exists. If the file does not exist, and the file that I'm testing is qualitycars.txt. If the file does not exist, it will display an error message and terminate the program. If the file exists, I'm then going to look at clearing the Rich Edit, and I've created and set tabs in order for the data in the text file to be neatly aligned in tabbed columns. I've got my headings, and then now, if the file exists, I want to assign T file to the file qualitycars.txt. Reset T file, and now I am in read mode and I can loop through the file using while not EOF of T file begin. I'm now using readlin procedure to read from memory into S-line. This line of text I-pos is assigned pos, find the position of S-line. I have put a sample data of the first line of text from the file qualitycars.txt. So what the first pos, the position of the semicolon, is going to give me the position found of this semicolon. It's then going to extract using this line, using copy. I'm going to copy from S line, start at position 1, IPOS -1 characters. It's then going to start at position 1 and it's going to stop copying at the character before the semicolon, IPOS -1. I then delete the make using delete procedure, delete from S line, starting at position 1 and take IPOS number of characters. So it's going to delete from there inclusive of the semicolon. Now, when I go onto that line of code, S line now has the balance of that coding. It has the model, the color, and the price. So now let's evaluate this line of coding. I could, okay. IPOS now finds the position of the neck of the hash in S line. And I'll come into this line of code and I find the position of the hash in S line. So it's going to find the position of this hash in this line of text. I then copy the model. I'm using copy from S line, start at position 1 and take IPOS -1 characters. It's then going to start copying from there to the character before the hash. I then delete from S line, start at position 1 and take IPOS number of characters. I'm then going to start from there up until the hash and I'm going to delete. So that takes me to that line of code. The next section of code is I'm finding the position of the hash in S line. So I'm finding, this is what S line will now have when I'm on that line of code. I'm finding the position of this hash in S line. So pos is going to give me the position of the hash in S line. I then copy, using copy, I'm going to extract from S line, start at position 1 and take IPOS -1 characters. So it's going to start from there and it's going to copy to the character before the hash. I then delete the color using delete procedure, delete from S line, start at position 1 and take IPOS number of characters. So it's going to delete the color starting from position 1 and up to the position of the hash. I'm now left with, in S line, the last part of the line, which is the price. All I need to do is assign the price, the balance of S line, to a variable called dPrice. My last line of code is just displaying the contents of each variable that I've created, and I'm closing the file. Let's run this code and see what it looks like. Click on your button Run. Okay, and click on your button Display Stock. And that is the contents of the text file, neatly aligned in tab columns. Okay, so I have an activity prepared for you, and in this activity you have to find the stock on hand. So let's look at the problem. You're going to add a T button. On your caption, you will call it stock on hand. In this program, the owner needs to know the number of Audi cars in stock. Write code to do the following. Your program must display the number of Audi cars available in the dealership and their specifications. allow for user input and should work for any car searched. So if your sample input was, I need to know if I enter Audi A4, your program must tell me that in the dealership there are 2 Audi cars available and these are the specifications for each car. Enjoy the activity. Thank you for listening, learners. Stay inspired and stay motivated, and keep an eye on my next activity.